Hey everyone, Christine here with Portable Entrepreneur. Thank you so much for joining me today on this premiere of how to get paid. Yes, get paid to plan websites. This is something I've actually wanted to talk about. I wanted to share with you for a really long time now. So I'm so excited that I'm finally getting the opportunity to do this because this is a game changer in business. Because as web designers, we actually already plan websites. We just don't tend to do that great of a job at it. We're just anxious to go ahead and land that client, get paid, and actually start the project that we skip over this whole in-depth planning process. But it's this process that not only tells us if we're going to be able to get a specific outcome, the actual results that a business owner wants to see before we ever start the project. This is the part of the process that eliminates 90% of the issues that pop up from scope creep and the misunderstandings and the changes and the projects getting drawn out because clients don't have what they need or something inevitably happens that just makes it drawn out. So this is why it is so incredibly important to take a lot more time in the beginning to get it right and to make sure that the website is planned correctly. This is in the best interest of everyone involved. And so this is why I want to share with you today, not only just what this process is, but I want to show you what's included, the process that I go through in website planning with clients. But I also want to tell you how I pitch this to clients to get them to the point where they're like, yeah, I see the value and please, yes, let me pay you just to plan the website, not even to build it yet. Let's just get this thing planned. But I also want to show you how you can price this out for your business. That way you have a plan here. Now, if you are attending this live, of course, I'm going to be here in the comments and I'll be able to answer any of the questions that you have around website planning. So don't hesitate to ask. And if you are here, make sure to be commenting, asking questions, letting me know that you're here as well, because I'm going to be selecting someone who is here live and giving away a one-on-one free consultation so that I can help you implement this website planning into your business and into the process that you have. Now, I don't know where you're located. You can let me know in the comments here, but where I am, it's over 100 degrees today. It is so hot. And in talking to a neighbor, she was just so tired of this heat. So she called up this pool contractor and she's like, hey, I'm going away. I'm going somewhere cooler. I can't take this heat anymore. I've got to have a pool so that when I'm home, I can just go out the back door, fall into this pool and have a way to relax and still be outside at home. And so she's like, I'm going away. Could you just build this pool for me while I'm gone? Yeah, sure, I can do this. How much does it cost? Here's the numbers. Great, do it. So she goes away, comes back, and she finds what's technically a pool in her backyard. She has this big, like 20 by 30, basically hole in the ground. It has all the cement like a pool would have, and it's been filled with water. But she calls up the pool contractor. She's like, hey, it's not exactly what I was thinking here. I got kids and this is just like one giant deep end. There's no slope in, there's no shallow end. There's no way for them to get in the pool really. There's no bench on the other end. So if they swim to the deep end and they can't get back and stay afloat, they have somewhere to sit, to rest for a moment. It has no pizzazz. Other pools, they have like a waterfall feature or something to make it look nice and fun. And all the landscaping around is just dirt. All this is gonna blow into the pool. It doesn't look nice out there. It's not really relaxing like I had thought. So you see, now she's frustrated because she didn't get exactly what she wanted. And the pool contractor is frustrated because, well, he gave what she asked for, but now she's asking him to come back to take more time, but now he has to either eat the cost or she has to pay more, and they are disagreeing about that. But he's already lined up other jobs, and so now he's trying to figure out how to manage those jobs with going back and still making her happy and giving her what she wants. So she's frustrated, he's frustrated, it's just a mess. So you see, what she should have done from the beginning is contact a landscape architect. And when she would have said, how much does this cost? He would have said, well, hold on a second. That depends. Let me ask you some questions. And he would have said, well, what size do you want it to be? What shape should it be? How deep should it be? What kind of activities do you want to have? Will there be diving? Will there be basketball or volleyball or other water activities? How many people will typically use this pool? Will there be kids? Would you want to heat the pool? Will there be any interior or exterior tiles? Do you want any tiles surrounding the pool? Do you want landscaping around the pool? What feel should that have? What kind of features do you want? Do you want underwater benches, a swim-up bar, an outdoor shower, a fire pit, a waterfalls, a spa, fountains? Will you hire for pool maintenance or do it yourself? What kind of swimmer are you? Will there be anyone with disabilities using the pool? Do you want this to be eco-friendly? Do you entertain often? Are there any HOA requirements? How many levels do you want the pool to have? So you see, the landscape architect took a step back and said, well, allow me to ask you questions to get you thinking about things that you probably weren't thinking about yet. Let me make sure that before we even start, we make sure that we are going to design exactly what it is that you want and not just what you say you want. So you see, this is the difference here of us needing to, as web designers, step into the web design architect role before we step into the web design contractor role. The web design architect is supposed to create the blueprint, the roadmap for success. They fully plan out the website and make sure that the client is asking the right questions, that they are asking the client the right questions to make sure that everything is going to be included, that it is planned out, and it all is done in a way that is going to help them achieve the result that they want. And then, and only then, do we turn from the web design architect mode into the web design contractor mode, because the contractor, well, their job is to take that blueprint, that roadmap, that plan, and implement it. So this is where a lot of us are going wrong. We are starting out as the contractor and we just gather some basic information from clients, like how many pages do you want? What features do you want? What don't you like about the website you have now? Or what other websites have you seen that you like, and what do you like about them? And then the client will ask some generic questions like, well, how long is it going to take you? And how much does this cost? All while in their mind, they're thinking, does this person really know what they're doing? And am I actually going to get what I want at the end of this? But you see, if this is the extent of our planning process, which I get it, don't feel bad, this was me, and this is why I understand the difference that this really makes. But if this is the extent of what we're asking, how do you really know you're going to deliver what the business owner really wants? How do you know what the business really needs, and if they're asking for those needs, or if this website is going to serve their long-term needs? Or if the site will grow with the business as it expands and changes, or that it will help generate the actual result that they want. The truth is, you don't. So if you've ever wondered, how do you get results for clients, but you don't know what to do or you don't know where to start? This is it right here with website planning. So we're going to stop giving out generic packages. We're going to stop the guessing and assuming. We're going to start eliminating the scope creep. And we're going to start knowing that we are going to get the outcome that the client wants at the beginning of the project. So let's talk about specifically website planning. I know there's going to be questions about, well, what's involved? What does this look like? Let me share my process with you. Now, let's first start with what actually a website plan is. So this creates a scope of work that fully explains the business's needs and requirements so we can provide an accurate quote and time frame and ensure that we produce the specific outcome the business wants or better. Now, I divide my website planning into 6 steps. Now, 3 of these are steps that I do on my own, and 3 of these steps involve both me and the client or the business owner. So the first step is website planning preparation. This is a step that I take before I meet with the client, and this includes gathering general business information, looking at the health of their website, gathering some data from looking at some competition and even their own website. I run some relevant audits such as a full site audit, Google My Business audit, for example. I'm reviewing analytics data and key metrics. I review technical setup, the functionality, and all of the site details. Now, once all of that has been done, this is where I come back and I meet directly with the business owner, and we cover 3 areas together. Now, this process, depending on the size of the website, the complexity of it, the overall business, this typically is a process that takes between 1 and 3 hours. Yes, it takes that long. I'm usually taking between 2 to 3 hours just to talk to the client about this. And sometimes I actually break this up into multiple sessions just so it's a little bit more manageable for them. But As you can see, this is why we're not gathering most information up front, because we might take 20 minutes to talk to a client about what their needs are, and then we just jump into the proposal phase, which is why so many issues come up. So once I have done my own preparation, gathered some initial information for myself, then I go into meeting with the client for the first time. This is where we are talking about their business details and goals. And I ask a whole series of questions about their goals and objectives, their audience questions, business questions, their marketing and sales funnel questions. I want to make sure that I understand who they're selling to, not just what they're selling. And I also want to make sure that the website that I create is going to fit into their entire sales funnel, all of their marketing plan, because the website is just one piece. So if I build this in isolation without an understanding of any other components of their sales funnel, well, it really may not be effective for them. And we'll also ask some competition questions. Now, the next thing that we look at are website assets. So this is where we are asking general website questions, the site functionality, and even feature review. So this is where when clients are saying, well, I want this feature and this feature, that's it, I'm good, that's all I need. Well, I say, really? Okay, well, let's just double check here. Do you need this, 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 and this? No? Okay, what about this, 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 and this? Or this, 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 and this? Or this is this, and this? And we ask a whole series of questions about all the different possibilities of features, because we want to make sure that, one, the features are going to actually meet their needs, but it's also going to help them achieve their outcome. So this can help us also divide work between what needs to happen right now to meet their outcome and what perhaps could be done in phase 2 of our work together. Now, next, we're going to be looking at content assets. This is where I'll be asking a lot of content-based questions, obviously. I'll also be looking at the needed content review. So not only asking them what content they need, but I have a whole list of different questions that I ask about different types of content to make sure that we are creating the content that is actually needed. There is content that websites needs that clients don't really consider or think about, so it's important to bring this to their attention. And we also do a page review. So again, if a client says, I only need 5 pages on this website, typically that's not the case. We may find that they actually need 35 pages when we actually do our review and we look at all the different types of pages they could need to make sure that they get exactly what they need and what they want. And within this, we also look at any e-commerce based content if that applies to that type of site. Now after this, I go into my 2 final steps, and this I do without the client. And typically here, I'm pulling together all of the information that they gave me, all the information that I gathered. And if there's any final questions, I really just pull all of those together so I can go back one final time and ask them for any information that I really need clarification on. But in the final 2 stages, I'm looking at style planning and web page planning and information architecture. So this is all pulling together the whole layout of the site, understanding what pages are going to be involved, what each page is going to do, and I'll get into some more specifics on what that's going to look like. But this is really where you want to keep the client talking in these conversations, because this is all about them. This is not your opportunity to offer solutions to them, because this is why you're gathering information. So you can later go back, compile all of this, and use this to plan out the website to then determine what is the best course. So then you can come back afterwards being more informed and creating that plan for them. So this is where we're putting together their whole, what I like to call, roadmap for success. This is not where we're looking at the proposal, how much is this going to cost, what the time frame is going to be. That will come at the end. This is where we create that roadmap for them, that blueprint, to take them from where they are now to where they want to be and help guide them through that process. So this is where we're going to be outlining things like their goals. We're going to be creating a site map, page structure, functionality, navigation, user flows and conversion mapping. So making sure that we understand what the customer journey is going to be to help guide users through the site to help convert them. Branding, from their logos, colors, images, icons, their copy, all of their content, so incredibly important to the success of the website. Their growth strategy, making sure that it aligns with their sales funnel, and even making sure we have put together what their technology stack should look like. And also that way they're going to understand what is needed to make this project happen and any of the costs that will be associated with that are going to be third-party costs. So at the end of this, you're going to be pulling pulling together a final project scope that is going to outline all of this. So at the end of the day, you're going to have this website redesign scope. It's going to outline all of the goals, the objectives, the requirements that they have, because sometimes there's requirements that a site has, even if they don't necessarily help the client get to their desired outcome, but for one reason or another, they are still required on the website. We're going to have the sitemap completely outlined. We're going to have a very clear picture of who the target audience is, who is this ideal audience that they want to sell their products to or offer their services to. We're going to have user flow recommendations to help guide the site's design, to help make sure that it converts. We will have page objectives and wireframes. So we are literally looking at all the different pages that they have. What is the specific goal for each of those pages? What does the wireframe look like? Not the design, but just the general outline of what needs to go on that web page. And even the style guide, the mood guide, to help select the image style, the icons, the fonts, different information like that, which is really going to become important as we get into the design phase. We'll also have that clear outline of the website technology stack, as I mentioned, the overall website strategy, and even the content creation plan and how that is going to play into the website. So that's everything you need to include. Let's talk about how do you actually go about pitching this to clients to make sure that they understand the value. I think at this point, you understand the value. You see how incredibly important this is to go really into depth with the clients to make sure that you understand their business, you understand their goals, you understand the audience, you understand the goals of not just the general project, but each individual page of the website, making sure that it's carefully planned so that it can be designed for maximum ROI. Because at the end of the day, that's what clients want to see. So if you have a website that you don't plan, it can't experience a positive ROI unless it's just kind of by luck. You got lucky with that one. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are planning our websites so that they produce a positive ROI. A planned website produces a positive ROI. So if I'm going to pitch this to a client, I'm going to say something like, the only way we can, or really anyone can for that matter, provide you with a website that produces a positive ROI is to fully research and understand your business, your customers, and what your goals are. If we don't do that, we're just simply guessing here. And that's why this is the only way that we do this. And we can continue on to say websites are a huge investment of your time and money. So we want to make sure that you get everything that you need to achieve the outcome that you want and that your website is going to continue to produce for you in the future. And if we want to expand on this, we can share that, we used to skip this planning phase, but this is what led to surprises, and no one likes surprises. This led to higher long-term costs for the website and the business, and lost business in having to spend the time and the resources in doing this. So now we provide a roadmap so we are both clear on exactly what needs to be done, what we want to achieve, all while avoiding surprises, which keep your costs down over time. No shortcuts. So this right here, keeping the conversation on having a positive ROI, is very, very effective for helping the client understand this is why. Even giving them the analogy, like I shared with you earlier, about the landscape architect versus the pool contractor, or a home architect versus a home builder. These all help them to understand this is how you get exactly what you want by planning it from the beginning. So I'm going to ask you questions that you're not even thinking of to ask at this point, and I'm going to go into very specific detail to make sure that you get exactly what you want. We are both on the same page, and we're going to eliminate all surprises so you know exactly what this is going to cost you, exactly how long it's going to take, and that's not going to change as we go through this project. Now, when it comes to how much this costs, typically you can bill between 10 to 20% of what you expect the full project price to be. Now, again, of course, you're planning this, you don't know what the exact cost is going to be, I understand, but this is where you're going to be looking at what your typical range is going to be. Now, of course, if you are building $1,000 websites, well, doing this for $100, well, that's not going to make sense for you at all. That is why this is a really good way to get clients in the door door who are very serious about their website. They understand the value. They understand that this is a marketing tool that should produce a positive ROI. So that way they are willing to invest in it, and they're not going to just spend $1,000 on a website. So charging $1,000, even $2,000, even more is perfectly reasonable for this website planning session, because this really does take a lot of time to do. And it is something that you really should make sure that you are getting paid well to do, so that you take the time to do everything that is involved within website planning. It makes the entire rest of your process so much easier. It eliminates any problems with any of the team members that you may have. It eliminates any of the problems that you have with clients along the way. What I like to do is I like to take the amount that they have paid for website planning, and then when I go ahead and present the proposal to them for what they would actually pay to have me implement this plan now, I apply that as a credit towards that. So let's just say, for instance, a website costs $15,000, but they have paid $2,000 for the website plan. So we will now take that $2,000 and apply it to that $15,000 price, and now the price will be brought down to $13,000 for the website. So whatever your numbers are, it doesn't matter, but this gives you an idea of how you can use this. And 9 times out of 10, clients want to continue with this. It is probably even more than that. I mean, it's really rare that a client will go through this whole process with you and then say, well, no, I'm going to take this and go somewhere else. They definitely could, because your plan should be that good, but they want to see this actually implemented. They want to see the full plan, and they like what you've put together, and they want to see you now make it happen and start to help their business grow. So this is how you land this client. You get them in on this first initial service, you deliver that value, you then implement the plan that you have created, and that leads beautifully into the recurring revenue model, because you have to be able to maintain the site and, more importantly, continue to grow the site and make sure that it is effective marketing tool for the business. So let's take a look at what my full process here is. So I start my process with the initial contact. When the client first comes in, what I want to do is I want to qualify them, and I want to make sure that they are going to be a right fit for my business, that I'm going to actually deliver what it is that they want. So I want to just make sure that this is going to work together. Part of this process is I do like to give them what I call homework. And it's just something that gets them thinking about their website, but it also provides me with information. But if they're not going to take the time to do that, well, they're probably not serious in the first place, and they're not going to take the time to really go into the whole website planning process with me. So after I've qualified them, they've done their homework, that is then where we sell the website planning. And then the next phase is the site planning itself. And this is where I go through the series of steps that I shared with you today. And then we move into the design phase, followed by the development phase, and then another lengthy phase is our quality assurance phase. And I have to say, this is quite extensive, because this is really checking everything on the website to make sure that we have done everything we needed, that we have covered everything. Everything is in working order. That way, when we go to launch the website, we don't have all of these issues that come up. We have a list that we go through as well to make sure that we have checked off everything, not only before the launch, but also after the launch, and we're double checking a handful of things as well, just to make sure everything is operating correctly. That way, the project does not continue to extend on, because the client is starting to notice things, and then it's, well, do you fix, or now I have to pay for it, or how does this go? We eliminate all of that with this quality assurance process. Then we move into our launch process and our final checks before and after the launch. And then we go into the 7th and final phase, which is maintenance and growth. So of course, you need to be able to maintain a website. It is an important thing to do, but also growth. How are we growing the website? How are we going to continue to help the business experience more leads, more customers, and more sales? That is what we need to be looking at in the second phase of our work here. So this can be, how are we getting more traffic? This could be SEO, paid ads. This could be email marketing, holiday sales, promotions. Google My Business support. This varies depending on the client and their needs, but there's a whole host of ways that you can grow the site based on that, and we have processes ready for that to figure that out. So I highly encourage you to start using a website planning process, to start charging for this process so that you are really going much more in depth with each of the clients that you serve to make sure that you fully understand their needs, you fully understand their business, their products, their services, their audience, their competition, so that you truly are able to deliver a website that generates results for them. Now, for the first time ever, I am sharing my entire workflow process. Not just the website planning that we talked about, that is in my process as well, but the full process from the initial contact, the qualification, selling of website planning, through the actual site planning phase, the design and development phases, quality assurance, the launch phases, and the final maintenance and growth. So you will have full access to my complete 7-phase step-by-step web design process, even my 7-step web design process overview. This is where I don't want to share my actual behind the scenes process with clients. So I have this overview that I use with clients to sell them on the process, to share more about what we do and how we're different than just a general web design contractor out there, so they really see that value. And I literally will cover this with clients. So this is something that you can take and just start covering with your clients as well, and then just using that 7-phase step-by-step web design process to then deliver on that. I also am going to include my proposal language. This is quite extensive, and this eliminates all of the misunderstandings. And this is to be reviewed with the client. This makes sure everything is super clear between you and the client. So all of those things clients tend to come back with, well, now we've reviewed that in the plan, and now we have this in the proposal language as well. So everything is crystal clear. There are no misunderstandings about this. I also include my page planner, which also is helping us identify what the goals are for all of those pages, what should be included in all of the pages. So it helps you design individual web pages that convert, that they perform for you, and they produce the positive ROI. And then finally, of course, I am including my template for the project spec. So after you have done the entire website planning process, being able to have a template where you can pull all of that together so you know exactly what that should look like, and so that you have something to start with to be able to share that with clients, because that is the document you're going to take back to clients. You're going to sit down with them and you're going to go over the full plan that you have now pulled together for them, and then transition into the proposal that you have prepared for them in order to sell them on implementing this plan that you've now created. You can find all of this at portableentrepreneur.com/workflow. Now I'm going to be sticking around here for a little bit longer to answer any of the questions that you have about website planning, how to implement this in your business. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop those here, and I will get back to you there in the comments as well. Thank you so much for sticking around with me today. Make sure to leave some comments. Let me know that you're here so I can enter you in the giveaway to get a one-on-one free consultation to help you implement this in your business. Thanks again for being here with me and taking the time with me. I really do appreciate that. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you next time.